Okay, here we go. Drop frame 0, CPU 40%, 60 frames per second, and we are at a very good high stable bitrate. There we go, we are live. Is this actually live? Yep, alright, we are live. Christian is here. Okay, this is hopefully better. So I am messing with attempting to record in 4K, and it turns out the Ryzen 5600 could not do it well. This is an M1, and this is doing it slightly better. But we're not at 60 frames a second. Yeah, we are. How does the quality look, guys? Is the quality of this camera better, or is it worse? It looked really good on the Windows machine, but on this M1 it doesn't look very good. But anyway, today we're going to be taking a look at a few MacBook boards. So we have a 820 something something something. Let's see, we have an 820. Where is the board number on this? It's somewhere here. Anyway, 2020 Air, one before the M1. So this was liquid damaged, and yeah, so we're gonna fix it. So I don't know what this board does. It was taken out from the enclosure, and no testing was done. So let's go ahead and plug it in and see what it does. Let's see. Using an M1? Yes, I am using an M1 currently, which I don't like using an M1. So, but anyway, so let's go ahead and plug in our USB-C. And where's my amp meter? Caleb, do you have a good USB amp meter over there? Why not? There was one the other day. There's one on the floor. But I'm guessing if it was on the floor, it's probably no good. I swear, I just got another USB-C amp meter. This is not a 01521 optimized logic board repair. Alright, so on our USB-C amp meter, we are getting 20 volts and 0.08 milliamps. Now, normally on this, what I would do is I would see if it's in DFU mode, but that's kind of not what we're going to do, because if we just look at the board, you'll see why. So anyway, let's look at our board under our microscope, and let's see what we can find. So, on this side of the board, it looks pretty clean. It looks like we have almost no liquid damage. Looks, relatively clean. Then we flip over to this side, and let's see. Okay, we have some liquid damage. Oh, look at this. Wonder what this might do. That looks important. That is our TPS 51980, which is going to be our 3.3 volt and 5 volt rail creation circuit. And if that's not working, then nothing's going to work. We also have some minor corrosion over here by our NAND. That's a little bit concerning, because it's not concerning that there's liquid here, because that's not going to hurt the NAND because it's underfilled, but we might have to replace some of these components, and I don't want to float that NAND. So that's a little bit of a concern, but our main concern is going to be right here. So let's go ahead and take care of this. Let me get my scope in focus, or get my camera in focus, and we will see. I'm going to open my chat again. Pico's Jack said hi to Caleb. And let me do this split screened. I don't want OBS full screen. I'm not used to using Mac OS. The hardware acceleration does help for encoding stuff, I will say that, but is that a soldered USB-C slot? No, it is not. This is a plugged-in USB-C connector. See? Plugged in. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is one, make sure I have a donor board for this because I don't want to start taking off stuff and not have a donor board. That would not be fun. So let me go dig out a donor board, which I actually should have several of these. Yep, I have several of these guys. So anyway, we have a donor board. I'm going to start taking off everything that looks disgusting. So I'm just going to get a nice bit of flux there. And people in chat, how is my audio, by the way? Is my audio better? Hoping my audio is better. So when I do streams, I kind of want to work quickly. So I'm not really going to explain every little thing what the chip does. I just want it to work again. So this is how I operate on a normal basis. I mean, I almost never look at schematics when I'm just doing stuff normally. I just do it for learning purposes when I'm showing you guys. And right now, this is just going to be a quick stream to see how many we could fix. There's that. Out of here. Corbin is here. This is a board that I don't know the board number of because I didn't look, but let's find an actual board number on this. Where is it on this board? This is a new air. It's probably under the heatsink. Yeah, it's under the heatsink shield. Let's look at our donor board. 820-01958. Those that want to know, 820-1958. I need Q-tips. I need Q-tips. You took my Q-tips. Peter, this is the 3.3 volt and 5 volt regular. What did you break, Caleb? Because they're expensive. Audio boards are expensive and hard to get. Caleb, Corbin wants to know if the sheriff gave you a ticket. Not yet. Someday. Caleb drives fast. Faster than me now. Did I send you that thing that Santa Clarita Sheriff Station posted? The meme? The what happened to Tom? Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was hilarious. Alright, so this is cleaned up. Now these solder joints look alright, so I'm just going to reuse the solder that's here. I've been doing that more and more, and there's really no drawbacks to it. Alright, so in this case I do have to wick this up because there's some cold joints there. Someone is here, Caleb. Malls, what's 1% of people drive like you guys? Because people here don't really drive very good, and a lot of people often almost cause accidents. Are we in focus? Not really. Wow, 30 viewers. Yeah, so here people usually go 20 over. I used to too, but the thing that what happens is if you're going sort of with traffic and you're an easy catch and going over the speed limit, you're more likely to go get a speeding ticket than somebody going insanely fast because they can't really catch the person going insanely fast. Or they don't want to. But if the speed limit on the freeway is 65, everybody's going 80 and you're going 65, you're a bigger hazard than somebody going 85. But the person going 65 in the left lane is probably not going to get the ticket. Alright, so get a line, little QFN. You could do it. Alright, you're good. I'm not going to push it down because this is in really close proximity to stuff and I don't want to cause a mess. So as long as it floats, I know that center pad is making contact and I don't need to push it down. And I'm not going to push it down. Wes says, I give enough money to New York State, tickets are just an extra tax. Yeah, and I agree. And when I was in New York last couple weeks ago, there were so many state police on the freeway. It was ridiculous. We don't have that much highway patrol here. Unless they're actively doing speed traps, when in New York they were everywhere. I don't know if that's normal for there, if that was just like I don't know, but there was definitely a lot. Alright, so we had some capacitors here. These are desense capacitors here. I'll put them back. This one might be important. I don't know. I'm not going to look it up. Again, I'm moving quickly. What's the issue, says edigit.com. This board does not turn on after liquid damage. We're going to make it turn on. Did this one have an audio board, Caleb? The one I'm working on now? It wasn't the one that had the audio board all burned, right? Okay. Got a number of these boards too. We have too many in Santa Clarita Valley. You should take some of our cops. Santa Clarita Valley is huge on speed enforcement. I know that for sure. It's not so much the regular LA County sheriffs you have to worry about. It's the motorcycle cops, because that's pretty much all they do is write tickets. Which flux are you using? I am using Amtech NC559, which you can purchase from either iPad Rehab store or Rossman Group store. Either or, take your pick. So I'm gonna clean up this flux. I mean this corrosion, not flux. Flux on my mind. I don't want to put heat on the CDs if I don't have to. I actually don't want to heat this area at all because it's so close to the NANDs. But this chip I'm going to have to replace. The rest of it will be fine after cleaning. But this one chip I'm definitely going to have to replace. So let me put some flux down. So I can't believe this. This M1 Mac Mini with 8 GB RAM streams better than that machine with an RTX and a Ryzen 5 5600. I don't know why, but you know, people in the last stream, you guys heard it was crackling, and we don't have any of that same audio defects this time, do we? Because yeah, I don't know. Those guys always come up out of nowhere. Oh, I agree. The motorcycle cops just appear out of absolutely nowhere, and then they're behind you with their lights on. And it's always the same feeling when you see one on the side of the road, and you look down at your speedometer and see you're going over the speed limit. Alright, I'm going to put a heatsink over the NAND. I did have NV whatever that is on. So yes, I did have that on. Like this M1, don't get me wrong, this thing sucks. This thing is very slow in a lot of tasks, but I guess recording video and streaming is not one of them. So I'll give it some credit. As a beginner, should I use open board view or flex board view? That answer comes down to, do you have $100, $179 to spend? If you started like me, that means that you had close to no money in the bank account. And when I mean no money, I don't mean having $500. I mean having $15 in the bank account. So if you have $15 in your bank account, then use open board view. If you have a little bit of spending money and you can comfortably spend $200, absolutely spend $200 on flex board view. It is well worth the money. In Indiana, if you aren't doing at least 5 over the speed limit, all you do is piss everyone off, including the cops. Yeah, see, that's how it used to be here too, and then they started cracking down on it. And I got 1 for 5 over, and then 1 for going 80 on the 14 freeway, which is everybody goes 80 on the 14. Okay, so I do not want to heat this area. I do not want to float the NAND, so I'm going to switch to a small nozzle. I would not recommend Zhao, whatever. It is not the same as Flexboard View. It is not even close. Flexboard View is loads better than that software. For water damage, wouldn't ultrasonic alcohol cleaning be first advisable? Okay, if you're using alcohol in an ultrasonic cleaner, that is how you cause a fire and an explosion. Um, never use alcohol in an ultrasonic cleaner. Use distilled water and something like Branson EC or equivalent. One, alcohol is not going to clean very well, and secondly, if that cleaner remember, an ultrasonic cleaner vibrates and it heats. So what you risk happening is a little spark from that basket moving around, and what's going to happen is all those vapors built up under the lid of the ultrasonic cleaner, it's going to cause an explosion. And something smells like it's burning and cancerous right here. So use Branson EC with distilled water or similar, so any equivalent electronic cleaner. And the question of should you use an ultrasonic cleaner first? Absolutely not, because one, you're going to remove the clues of what was wrong with the board, and secondly, a lot of this stuff that looks all destroyed has been damaged electrically, and it's not going to last if you leave it on the board. Melt, solder, melt. There we go. Melt. So yeah, like that TPS 51980 that we just replaced, then what's gonna happen is it's not gonna work after it's been electrically damaged, or if it does work, it's only gonna work for a short amount of time after. If Branson EC is banned where you are, which it is in some places, look for something similar. So go to any electronics part supplier, and soldering tip is not going to be able to remove that, by the way. So look for something similar. Most electronic suppliers will have something similar to Branson EC, and use that. You don't want to use alcohol. Tap water, I wouldn't use tap water in an ultrasonic unless I had to. I've done it before, but I probably wouldn't do it. It's not a problem as long as you rinse the board after you're done in distilled. So if you want to use tap water in the ultrasonic and then rinse the board after you're done in distilled water, that should be okay. Caleb, is there someone at the front? I hear noise. It's banned in some places because it's 81% VOCs. 81% VOCs is pretty high of a VOC content. Surprised it's not banned in California. Oh, I couldn't, if somebody drank it like Tide Pods, I couldn't see that. I mean, if you drank Branson EC, I couldn't even imagine that. Caleb, could you imagine Branson EC? Drinking Branson EC? You wouldn't be able to get it down. It would be, one, it's heavily alkalinic, and it would cause serious burns. It'll burn your skin. I couldn't even imagine what it would do to your esophagus and everything. It would be, yeah, you would cease to exist. Don't totally become a Branson smuggler today. That's a good idea. How much would people pay to have Branson EC smuggled, you think? Caleb. I think you have a new job position. You have a new job position. No, but you need to get it. You need to like swim overseas. You don't know how to swim? Come on, you can swim across the Atlantic. You could swim across the Atlantic. People need ultrasonic cleaning. You're depriving them of ultrasonic cleaning by not smuggling. So if distilled water is used with Branson, no need to rinse after. No, if your ultrasonic water is clean, then no, you don't need to rinse it. But if your ultrasonic water looks like ours, then yeah, you're gonna want to rinse it. I always rinse it after with more distilled water. But if you're only cleaning like one board a week, two boards a week, then no, you really don't need to rinse it. But when your ultrasonic cleaning water becomes all contaminated with garbage, then yeah, you should clean it. All right, 20 volts, 0.08, so this is no change, which makes me suspicious. Why wouldn't this change? What is going on here? So let's get our meter out and let's measure to see what's going on. My guess is it's probably in DFU mode. Let's see here. What is PP best voltage? Or there's something corroded that I'm missing. Alright, PP bus voltage is, where is it? Is it going to show up on this guy up here? 12.29 volts. Of course it's going to be in DFU mode or recovery mode. That's what always happens. So, oftentimes if something gets corroded, it kind of bugs out and ends up in this. We have a little bit of corrosion here. That should be alright. Anything else? Anything else? Alright, let's put this back in an enclosure. And see what happens. I wonder if it'll recognize just being plugged into... Let's see. Is this recognized in DFU by just plugging it in? Is it? Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. And in this case, it's probably not. Yeah, it's not. Alright, well, let's put this back in the enclosure. Hey, Caleb, can you give me the enclosure for this? I don't know where you got it from. Flux everywhere. Flux is everywhere. I hate flux. What time is it for? I want it to be time to go home. I want to go home. No, usually no. 80/20 would be too high. If you're using Branson EC, it's 3 to 5% of the capacity. So we have a 1 gallon cleaner here, or it might be a 1.5, but we use 180 milliliters. So it's 3 to 5%. 20% would be way too much. It also depends on what cleaner. If you're using Branson EC, then yeah, 3 to 5%. If you go a little bit above that 5%, it's not going to hurt you, but I probably wouldn't do it. Not going to hurt the board, I mean. Probably going to hurt you, especially if you drink it, but don't drink Branson EC. Plug in. I don't know how to reassemble anymore. Caleb, stop what you're doing. Put this board back in. I don't want to do it. I don't know how to reassemble things anymore. I don't know how to reassemble, I swear. poor little M1 is sitting at 76 degrees. Actually, no. Don't put screws in it, just...
That doesn't have screws.
Oh, it doesn't? 75 on performance cores. I did not hit Caleb with a spitball, no, but I did throw a thermal pad at him. But we'll leave that conversation for another day.
Tim, it was in. You just had to put the connectors.
Yeah, I know. That's what I mean. That's what I don't want to do. I don't want to plug in the connectors. It's not my job. I don't want to plug in the connectors. That's the worst part. That's how stuff gets broken. See? You're having a hard time. That's why I didn't want to do it. Jim is here. Is Caleb always this handy? Yes, that's why he works here. If he wasn't, then he would be fired.
Careful with the display connector.
Why?
It might pop off.
It might pop off?
Yeah.
Okay. You know how to fix that.
Do not blow.
Tim, you need to shave. You look like a prison inmate. Alright, I may look like a prison inmate, but you know one thing that I have not been called is a kid. I have not been told by somebody at the front desk, oh, is there anybody more experienced here to take a look at my machine? You look a little bit young to be doing this. I have not been told that I look like a kid. And I'll take being called a prison inmate over a kid. I've never been called a prison inmate. That's a new low. You have the chat that hits on you, and then they call me a prison inmate.
Yeah.
This isn't what I signed up for.
That's the truth.
Yeah, shut up. Alright, so we're plugged into the Thunderbolt master port, and we are still not getting anything. Okay. So it's not in DFU. Maybe I need to plug in the charger. Anthony Jabari set my messenger chat nickname to prison inmate. Thank you, guys. I needed that. I needed that confidence boost. I do need a shave. I have not shaved in a long time. Is that why people were acting suspicious of me? Customers, like, thinking I'm gonna scam them? Do I really look that bad? Alright. Oh, the shield on the T2 is pulled up. Did somebody reflow this? No. Good. Alright, so we're not in DFU mode. That means that I must use my brain. And I don't want to use my brain. I want it to be easy. But, oh well. Alright, so we're missing a rail somewhere. And that's causing it to be acting weird. So I'm going to start checking my power rails and seeing what I get. So it is not in DFU mode. It is not in recovery mode. We have something totally different going on. So let's go ahead and pull this board back out. You look shady, says Chuck. Chuck is a mod. You're supposed to be saying better stuff. You know what? No more mod. No more mod. You unmod. No calling TCRS shady. Okay, so let's take a look at this board further and go from there. So, how long did it take you to get the standard you are now? What do you mean the standard? As far as, oh no, the PMIC has corrosion by it. Like, doesn't look bad under it, or is it? I can't see. I'm just messing with you, Chuck. Okay. So I have corrosion here. Corrosion by my PMIC. There might be crap under the PMIC. We're getting 20 volts, so it's probably not anything near the CDs. Nothing in this area is bad enough to cause this. I mean, the resistors are fine. Most likely they're fine. It's acting like it's in DFU, so it's probably the T2 is not getting a required power rail somewhere. So I'm gonna say, oh, your repair knowledge and skill, experience. That's the only thing that took me to get me where I am. Seeing problems, working on this stuff constantly. I mean, I've been doing this since I've been 15 years old, you know, studying this stuff. So it takes time. It comes down to experience, trial and error, lots of trial and error, lots of failing, lots of wanting to give up, a lot of stuff like that. Where is my USB-C? What's funny? What do you say? Oh. I need a USB-C port. Are those two machines that we're testing done? Okay, so I'm gonna check my power rails. I'm suspecting we have an issue around our PMIC. So there's probably just a bunch of corrosion and junk under it, so I'm gonna measure some of my rails around it. These coils, I'm getting 0 volts. 0 volts. 12 volts. 0.8 volts. 0 volts. 0 volts. 0 volts. 0 volts.
How many volts?
0 volts. 0 volts. Spiking volts to 0.8 and 0.8 volts. Now that is not normal. That does not sound. Did you do a MacBook course? I teach a MacBook course, but I did not go to a MacBook course. But if you are interested in going to a MacBook course, there will be another one listed shortly on iPad Rehab, the iPad Rehab website that I will be teaching. So once that is up, I'll do another video announcing it, but we will have another course sometime in likely May or so, but I need to talk to Jessa and we'll go from there. Let's see, MacBook schematics 8201958 BRD, open. There we go. Okay, so I'm just checking to see. Yeah, I'm missing a lot of stuff that needs to be present. Oh no, we're getting 1.8 now. 0.9. 0.9. 0.1. Alright, so we're stable now. That's weird. That's really weird. And my heatsink is slightly warm. 12.3. 12.3. Catherine is here. I do not do any more radar stuff, Chuck. At least no radar stuff that I'm going to discuss on this stream. Okay, what's going on here? So all the PCA trails are missing. Well, we definitely have liquid near here. So that's, yeah. I don't like to just... See, the tricky thing is they could have something to do with the flux around this chip and around everywhere. So flux can cause issues sometimes. Let me check the outputs on this chip, and I'm also going to check voltage out of this coil to see if we're getting PP5VG3S. These multimeter probes are bent from dropping. They're purchased the other way, but they're super useful once you bend them. Alright, we're not getting PP5VG3S, which is important, so that's probably going to be our issue here. I really don't want to go through the power-up sequence of this board, but anyway, let's check. So PP5VG3S. This is going to be one of our buck converter outputs from the chip we just changed. Let's see if we're even getting our enable. Which is going to be on pin 4 of U7650, which we just changed. So right here. .53 volts. So it is not being enabled, and that enable comes from our PMIC. So this is looking like even more like a PMIC or some weird T2 communication issue. So what I'm going to do, let me just double check around this area, make sure nothing's knocked off. What I am going to do, since I could tell this was corroded around here right near a PMIC, was there a resistor here at one time? Maybe there was something knocked off. I kind of doubt it. Nope. Alright, so I'm going to flux and heat this, and then we are going to put this in the ultrasonic, and then we're going to come back after it's out of ultrasonic, because I kind of feel like after corrosion is cleaned from under this, it's going to work. You do not need a scope to check the enable lines. So you did the enable lines are just voltage. You do not need a scope to check just enables. If you want to start checking like clock lines and signal lines that are, you know, pulsed and stuff, then yeah, then you would need a scope. I have a scope. Do I use it? Not really. Would I recommend you to spend money on a scope? No. So Chris is here. Chris Long is here. I'm just changing my tip back to the big one. I do not do game console repair. Yeah, I could see the bits of corrosion flowing out from under this. Ultrasonic, is not even on. What the heck? Alright, so this should be cool. This definitely had corrosion under it. I could see it. I may even elect to reball it. But let's see. I am using a quick 861 DW. If you're working on MacBook boards, one of the cheap blower and handle stations is simply not going to do the job, so don't skimp out on your hot air station. And we have 20 volts, 0.09. Give me more, MacBook. Give me more. Nope. The enable lines shouldn't pulse if they're working properly. So they should not pulse if they're working properly. Enable is usually enable when it's present. So it's like it has to stay at 3.3 volts in order to it has to be at 3.3 volts in order to be online. The FR803, I don't know what FR803 is. And my light is off. So we're getting the same. But one thing that did change is now I'm getting a little bit of voltage, like 1/10 of a volt on 5VG3S, which could be leakage, or could mean that we are now getting our enable and it's not coming online due to another reason. I'm just going to watch this line. Nothing. Alright, something's... Our PP5VS5 is not present. Alright, so now let me check the VIN. Volts, that's present. Alright, now I gotta check enables. I don't want to have to check enables, that sucks. I recommend Amtech NC559. Alright, so I'm looking at the schematic. EN is on pin 12. And this comes from where? PMU VDD main EN. Yep, Chris Long, you need to replace the EDRAM and VCCIO regulators. It's a very common failure. We get a lot of them. Okay. PMU VDD main is not present, which comes from our PMU if the T2 tells it it's okay. Given the fact our PMU is corroded, I'm going to replace it, and we are going to see what happens. So, let me take this off the board. I do not have any cats. I have a pug. Oh, this is gonna suck.
I'm gonna bring your cat one day.
I don't want a cat. You keep the cat.
You're gonna have a shop cat like Lewis.
Lewis doesn't have a shop cat. What if it knocks over my soldering iron and causes a fire? Then you won't be employed. Do you not want to be employed?
The insurance?
You do not want to be employed?
Everybody else is unemployed.
If my shop burned down, that's a message that it's time to go. Time to leave this industry. Pico's Jack says, I'll employ him. That's a good idea. It's good to know that Caleb has somewhere to fall back on if he gets fired. Alright, so you can see the little particles of crap that are under here. This was definitely corroded at one point in time. And if this still doesn't work, it's due to T2 communication issues. In that case, we're going to ultrasonic this, and then we will be back to reflash the T2. Hacko FR803. What is this? I got to look this up. If this is what I'm thinking of, like the 801, then no. Hacko FR803. Oh no, I do not recommend this whatsoever. This is like a 20 liter per minute station, and the quick is 120 liters per minute. So, yeah, the 803 is get a quick or an Atten, the one that Lewis sells. I would not recommend the 803. Caleb on thin ice says, Jim, not yet, but if he doesn't finish testing these two MacBooks that he's doing right now, then he will be. Which one? On that air, can you call the guy? I don't like wicking these PMICs anymore because the pads rip really easily. Just trying to get some of this lead free out of here. Yeah, if Caleb doesn't get with test finishing these machines that he has to do, then he is not going to be employed anymore. Yeah, the FR803 is just a refresh of the 801, and the 801 is really not very good, like at all. It was good for its time, but not anymore. Caleb can hear me from the other room? That's not a good thing. I should probably shut up. Come on. I'm gonna lower my temperature a bit. Clean up this old flux. Yeah, if something's being like stubborn, it's probably because your flux is all burned up and not active anymore. Yeah, I don't think quick is their numbers are accurate either, but it just works. I want all this lead free on these pads to be replaced by leaded, and I want nice shiny little bumps there. I don't want any non-shiny. I think this heating element's dying in this tip. Adele could be the free teacher. We should see if Anel wants a free teaching job. Alright, this is as good as I'm gonna get it. Let's should we who says we should call Anel and figure out who thinks we should try and hire Anel for a free teaching job? Anel should be able to teach somebody for free. This is the PMIC, Anthony Jabari. I took this board out of the slot thinking, hey, this is going to be an easy one for a stream. And this is not an easy one. I was scammed. Aaron, probably none. You thought you could get away? You know what? Caleb handed me this board. He probably knew. Caleb, did this have some notes with it or something?
Yeah, they all do.
What would it say?
It's in the bottom there.
No, but this is a scam. It was supposed to be an easy one. Alright, let's reball a chip. Let's find a chip. That's why my internet's dropping frames. You're watching on my internet?
Just don't worry about it.
What do you mean don't worry about it?
Have a gigabit. Where did it go? You have the enclosure.
This is not an M1. This is a 2020. What are you looking for?
It says missing type C ports. That's what it says.
I need a PMIC. Aha, PMIC. PMIC. This is not an M1. This is not an M1. I am recording on an M1, which is surprisingly doing a really good job on this stream. Much better than before. Just need another monitor. pulling it off of the donor. Alright, here's our chip. Want to be careful when handling this guy because it's a little bit sensitive. Not by much though. I bought an M1 Air, Aaron, because my ThinkPad broke, and then I did not. Yeah, no thanks. I bought an M1 because my ThinkPad broke. Well, I broke my ThinkPad. I was doing something with the trackpad and I bent the heatsink, and I needed it like that week because I was going to teach and I couldn't get the part in time. So I bought an M1 Air so I could do demonstrations and stuff at the course. Do you call that guy, Caleb?
I'm not calling right now.
Oh, I thought I heard you on the phone. Don't be disrespectful to your employer. And the M1 Air was decent. I mean, it wasn't a bad laptop, but my concern with the whole, CSAM filtering thing is they'll move on to like looking at PDF documents, and I'm scared about the schematic. Well, not scared, but I don't know how Apple would react to knowing that like schematics for their newest machines are on my PC. Why not a framework? Because I needed a laptop that I could get like that day because I had to leave. So I got the M1 Air in short notice, and I figured, okay, I'll use it and I'll measure stuff for the course so I could learn a little bit more about them for the course. And then I got rid of it shortly after. And then now I have a ThinkPad T15G that has an RTX 2080 and an i9, which is an excellent machine. Alright, this looks good. A framework with the no dedicated graphics wouldn't really fit my needs as much as I really support them and I really like them. But I need something with a lot of power. I need a dedicated GPU for sure. And I literally just bought that MacBook to use for a week. That was it. And that's pretty much all I used it for. Like a week and like 4 weeks, and then I sold it. So I shouldn't have sold it. I should have just broken it down for parts, but whatever. They are going back to MagSafe, Aaron. Unconfirmed source. Unconfirmed source, but Aaron, I want you to do a Google search for 820-02100. So that is 820-02100. And then that question will be answered for you. Do you use a stencil? Of course I use a stencil. Just cleaning this flux up, and I'm going to grab my stencil in a second here. All right. Stencil. Which PPD will you use to reball it? I don't know what PPD means. Where is my stencil? I do not use a preheater to reball, no. I'm really looking for my stencil, and I don't know where my stencils are. I just had my stencils, and then my desk was cleaned, and now I don't have my stencils anymore. Where is stencil? The one thing that I will never understand in the repair shop world is how stuff magically ceases to exist. Because that's what it seems. Like, stuff will be in places. What grade paste do you use? I use 6337. I don't go by grades. I've never heard paste be referred to in grades, but 6337. Here's my stencil. Here's a stencil. Well, this isn't the one I was looking for, but it'll work just fine. I've never heard of grades of stencils, but what I use 6337. So, and I dry it up too. This is not painful to the chip. The chip likes it. It's saying thank you to me. If this chip could talk, it would be thanking me. But the stencil is kind of warped. So this is going to be painful to me, not the chip. This is going to be very painful for me. Nobody order a pizza to the shop. Do not listen to Caleb. Do not do that. It will not get eaten. It'll go to waste. Caleb, delete that message. No. No. Delete. Nobody. Last time somebody did that, somebody ordered like 16 pizzas and didn't pay for them to troll. And that was not cool. Yeah, if anybody does that, do not do that, please. Caleb, if some loud. Too loud. Okay, so I have some solder paste left on my tool, so I'm just gonna kind of use what I have here. And it was kind of a waste that I made new stuff, but oh well. Picking up, Caleb?
Yeah.
When?
20 minutes.
Yeah, if somebody orders food here, Caleb loses his job.
No.
So if somebody wants to see Caleb get fired, then you should order food here.
I don't get paid enough, so I have food for the week. I'm trying to get free food for the week.
If free food here,
Yeah.
so you want them if somebody orders something, you'll eat it on Friday. You're gonna get sick, and I'm gonna laugh. This makes me so. Aaron, this is not gonna be. Aaron, this is not gonna be 5 times. It might be 4 times, but it's not gonna be 5 times. I can assure you, it's not gonna be 5 times. No, it might be 5 times. Okay, it's probably gonna be 5 times. It's definitely gonna be 5 times. Look at this. Oh man. It's gonna be 5 times. Aaron, you did this. You jinxed it. You jinxed this. Look. Why me? Where did the chip even go? Oh. It's right here. Hey, that's not that bad. We could fix that. Aaron, this is your fault. You jinxed me. I would have gotten that perfect.
What happened? What are you doing?
This is not gonna be fun. Wow, 50 viewers. That's the best I've had in a long time. That's good. The stencil of the correct size. I don't think one exists for this particular chip, so you have to use one that's oddball, which is okay. The paste might have been too dry. Yeah, you're right. Which normally I would get this every single time, but because we're streaming.
Good thing Anel isn't here to complain about your solder paste.
Anel always complains about everything. Anel is a rookie. Anel is Caleb, you cannot deny that Anel is a rookie. Right?
Well, I mean,
Huh?
flicking really isn't the proper way to fix anything.
He flicked off a capacitor? Oh, I totally never do that. I totally never do that off stream. That flicking capacitors off boards totally doesn't pay your
Yeah, I mean, flicking the pad every single time.
flicking capacitors off of boards clearly doesn't pay your paycheck, Caleb. Alright. Cam is here.
Cam is drunk.
Cam is drunk? Says Caleb, why is Cam drunk? I don't think Cam drinks. I don't even know how old Cam is.
He's drunk.
He says he's drunk? Oh. It didn't come up on mine until after. Cam, what are you doing drinking? I don't even drink. Poor Cam. Kopaz is here.
Copad.
Every time I stream, I always make myself look like an unprofessional idiot. Nearly every time I stream. I've had some people that I trust told me I'm being too professional on my stream, so
That's the key to getting more views.
a key for what?
Key to getting more views. Be yourself.
Be myself? I think that's a bad idea.
I tried. I tried. Ooh, that burned.
What burned?
Just yet.
So I should be myself? Should I act like myself, Caleb?
They're gonna think that you lost your brain.
I have. Who says I have not lost my brain? Hey, I think anybody that fixes MacBooks for a living will eventually lose their brain.
Swear more like Lewis. Do not swear. Tim's which
Huh?
Tim can't drink.
I will. I mean, if people will donate to see drunk board repair when I'm of drinking age. Oh, I just made a mess.
I can, but I'm not going.
See, if this would not be 5 times attempted if Aaron didn't say so. And I reball these things all the time off stream, and they're fine. But because Aaron had to comment 5 times, it's going to be 5 times now. All right, this is not that bad. We'll fix this. I don't really think I haven't paid attention to restrictions here in a long time, Christian, so I don't know. I think technically I'm still supposed to wear a mask if I'm in my store alone, and I'm fully vaccinated, so. A little flux on this. Wes, I won't because I'm leaving to get dinner in like an hour, so yeah. Another time, Wes. Another time, I promise.
Yeah,
School Kid Production says you should stream more often. It's nice. Well, see, now 46 people are watching, and now it's worth streaming. When before, only 5 to 8 people were watching, which it's not worth streaming, and it's kind of kills your confidence when you see only 8 people are watching your stream. So, that's so satisfying watching the flux just boil like that. That was so cool. That was really cool to see. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Caleb,
Okay.
you're working here on Mondays now. It's not a choice.
Alright.
Because on Thursdays, you're going to be kidnapped and forced to stay here. Is that legal? Nobody will think I'm serious by that. I mean, it's 2021. Finding employees is hard. You have to do what you have to do.
That's very true. I'm taking it for granted.
Take you for granted? It would be an interesting few months trying to balance my workload here without Caleb here, so I hope he doesn't quit. You need to move on, Caleb.
I was gonna say something.
Like what?
No. So I'll tell you later.
That's too big. I don't like.
Welcome Wes from iPad.
Huh? iPad rehab? Where? But now you have to do a good job because 50 people are judging you. I saw an iPad rehab stream when Erica was doing data repair, then I watched her video. Thank you, I appreciate it. Yes, 50 people are watching and judging me botch this reball. All because
Wes.
all because of Aaron
Was Aaron.
saying, "Oh, this reminds me of Lewis doing it 5 times in a row," when I didn't even start doing it. The thing is, when people say stuff like that, it ends up coming true. What? Yeah, you did forget to number the boards. And my little solder ball keeps running away. Little solder ball keeps running away. Where is little solder ball? I'm trying to find the perfect size solder ball to put in this on this chip, and there isn't one. Here's another one. Okay. So this is what you guys need to pay attention here, because this will happen to you too, reballing. So you just get a little extra solder ball that's on your stencil, and if you could find it, which this is another one that left the earth. Here you are. Here's one. Will this work? Is this a good size? My hands are not steady enough for this. This is too small. I wonder how many like 201 resistors and little solder balls are in my lungs by now. I'm willing to bet more than a few. You can do better 6 times says something I can't pronounce because I can't see what it says on my screen. If I do this 6 times, if I have to do a BGA chip 6 times after doing it this many times, then it's time for me to move on.
Quit?
Yeah. No, it flew away again. What? Come on. This is just cruel. This is all the fault of Aaron. Aaron, this is the doing of Aaron. It's not an NC pad. Alright, let's get another one. We're getting low on our supply here. Did you lose something, Caleb?
No, I'm numbering them.
Numbering? Good. Aha, here you are. You're not running away this time. Not gonna let this happen. You're not gonna run away. Got you. You're not running away now. You're there. You're down there. But you're teaching us what not to do. No. I am teaching you what happens when you're reballing a chip. This stuff kind of happens. And it usually happens in the presence of other people and never when you're doing it alone. It's funny because at the course, we'll purposely do stuff like this to teach people how to correct mistakes like this. Because that's the only way you're going to learn is by seeing a mistake. And this looks oversized. That is way oversized. That is way oversized. Look at that. That is nonsense. We can't leave that. So what I'm going to grab is... See, that deceived us because we had a solder ball in our stencil that's supposed to be the same size, but in reality it was a much bigger size. So what I'm going to do now is put this back in the stencil, and we are only going to put solder over the select area that we want. So I'll take this as attempt 3. So Aaron is definitely getting his way. Aaron has definitely got his way of watching me suffer. This doesn't want to line up. Why don't you want to line up? Ah, flux. You need to change the others to bigger ones. Yeah, I don't think that'll work. I don't think that'll work. Caleb, I have a question. Why are you watching my stream when you're literally sitting across the room from me?
Chat with my friends.
Your friends?
Yeah, my friends in chat.
Whoa, this isn't the right one, is it? Yeah, it is. Take this tape off. Caleb, it's 5 p.m. Aren't you supposed to go home? What are your hours supposed to be? I don't remember.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's like, you should leave at 6.
You have to contact the manager of the business.
I am the manager.
You are the manager, exactly.
So I 6 to 6.
Okay.
The guy's coming.
Caleb is a manager, technically. And by manager, what I mean by that is when somebody says, "Can I speak to the manager?" Caleb deals with it, because I don't want to deal with that. Who wants to deal with somebody that has to speak to the manager? Alright, so we have a few right there that we got to put a little bit of solder paste in. It's 5 p.m. Do you know where your Caleb is? Says Aaron E. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Message? Usually people are pretty good about asking for the manager here. Every once in a while there'll be one really rude person. I'm gonna do a dedicated video on that soon about just people that are feeling the need to be incredibly rude. But yeah, for the most part, most of our customers are really, really nice. Every once in a while, you will get somebody that's just absolutely a pain to deal with. But for the most part, our customers are very, very kind. But, you know, at the same time, when somebody feels the need to go out of their way to be rude, we don't deal with them either. I mean, I'm not going to be like that. Amazon customer service or whatever that's, oh, I'm so sorry to hear you're dissatisfied, or anything like that. No, we don't do that here, because we do a good job. And I mean, if we legitimately screw up, we make it right. I mean, if we legitimately mess up somehow, we make it right. So it's 99% of the time when somebody is being rude, it's over something absolutely ridiculous that they don't need to be rude about. And how often do you get stolen MacBooks or phones? Usually when somebody calls about so usually when somebody calls about EFI unlocks, they're stolen, and I don't accept them. So why the plastic sheet? That's not a plastic sheet. This is actually a Samsung digitizer. It's glass, and I put this over it so the stencil doesn't want to warp. If you remember prior in that video, the stencil kind of wanted to warp a little bit, so this will prevent it from warping, and it's thin enough the heat just goes right through it. So, do you ever fire a customer? Oh yes, definitely. Definitely. No, are you kidding? Are we really gonna have 4 attempts? Please tell me that's just Flux. I don't understand this. I do these literally all the time. And now? This all looks like it's on the same thing though. That looks like it's on just ground, but I'm no way I'm gonna do this again. Aaron, this is your doing. I want you to go home, or if you're already home, I want you to go to bed thinking that this is all your fault, that now 50 people think I'm a moron. Or we could just blame Caleb. I was hoping this was just Flux. It's not just Flux. So what I'm gonna do, I know this is gonna be one of the streams that people comment, like somebody leaves a comment like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, you seem really inexperienced, or some nonsense like that. And that person will likely have never touched a soldering iron in their life, and they will be totally clueless. No. Alright, I'm still going to try and separate that. So, how I would do this, I don't really want to reball all this again. So, I'm going to try and separate this. I'm going to try and just get my tweezers and make 2 balls out of this one. And that's close enough. That'll be okay. All these are on the same line, I'm willing to bet. So I'm not going to worry too much about that. That's not going to cause issues, hopefully. Let's see if they're actually on the same line, because they look like they are. Yep, that's all in the same line, so I do not have to worry about it. Alright, so we are done. Let's grab our chip, and let's grab our board. That's probably not going to work, because I already know this is going to need to be ultrasonically cleaned, and it's going to need to be forced DFU restored, because that's just how it's going to be. Because that's how it goes with sometimes with these. Whenever the T2 can get corrupt from, let's say, a bad PMIC, oftentimes they will be in DFU, and we will have to force it into DFU to get it to restore. So I'm going to preheat this area a little bit before I put my chip on. Aren't there rules against what? What rules are we talking? Right now I have about the attention span of a fly, so Caleb, am I missing something?
No. Nothing of a stat.
So I'm gonna grab my chip now.
Oh. he said you good.
Huh?
He said you good.
Oh. What solder am I using? I'm using SN6337. Let's get my orientation right. Let's see. Dot is in the top corner, like I have it. Is someone at the front? Go into place. Come on. Cam, stop drinking. You're learning bad habits. Alright, this should be in place. I will be right back. So let's, yeah, we're going to do something off camera, and I will be right back. Okay. Caleb is your new host for right now.
Shut up.
Galvani says, I see much of my grumpiness in him, and sometimes it soothes my heart. Yes, I am grumpy. Hey, you're the radiologist, I believe, right? Am I getting the right person? Yes, I am very grumpy. I have to fake not being grumpy with customers. Okay, I'll be right back. Caleb is your new host. Here's microphone.
Uh-oh.
You keep them entertained.
Uh-oh.
Here.
Oh no. How do I use this microphone? All right, this isn't working. Oh, customers here. I gotta go, guys. Customers outside. I know. Yes. Take this mask off. So how do I use this microphone? This does not fit my ear. All right, here we go. Oh.
Give me a mic.
Aww.
What did you do?
What?
Did you do something to this?
I may have.
Alright, so let's see if this works. So my guess is going to be no, because it's going to have to be DFU restored after it's ultrasonically cleaned. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we will get proven wrong. Maybe I will get proven wrong. 5 volts, 0.03, 0.09, 0.02. Fail. Alright, so we're actually worse now. We're at 5 volts now instead of 20 volts. Is it in DFU now? Or the PMIC I just put on? You guys on this channel may get your wish of the 5 times. DFU is going to be DFU is a mode. It's like a recovery mode that the T2 gets put in. And it's not. So that means our PMIC is dead, or that one ball is bridged to something else. So, yeah. swear. Do I have pre-balled? Do I have pre-balled new chips? I think I may have pre-balled new chips. And if I have a pre-balled new chip, watch. I'm gonna have a pre-balled new chip in this bag, and I'm gonna feel like an idiot. I can't tell what these are. No, these are ocarinas. Alright. Aaron, you're responsible. You are responsible.
I'm not getting going this time.
Oh yeah, I could see the balls are squished way too much. And this is why, me and Jessica can have this thing at the course where she does not wick chips and I always wick chips. See, I did not wick this chip. And that's where I went wrong, because here, always wick your pads. That's what happened here. I did not wick. You always wick your pads. Yeah, see this is what happens when you don't wick your pads. It compresses them. They look like this. Although that's probably not bad because they're all... Yeah, see, I like wicking. We are going to wick our pads here. That's what the mistake I made. I did not wick. Should always wick. Always wick. This is what happens when you don't wick. See, look at this. This is why you always wick. Did he pay?
Yeah.
He paid all on card?
No.
Where's the other half? Is that if that's in your freaking pocket, you're gonna be in jail. Not in jail.
It wasn't. It was on my desk.
You're gonna go in jail, Caleb.
You want me to?
Yes.
I'm already in jail.
Actually you kind of are. That reminds me, I gotta make sure I call that company to install the suicide nets so you don't jump out the window. Like at Foxconn. It's not funny. You think it's funny. I know what you're thinking about. I know what you're thinking about. And that's not permitted here. Imagine working in a place that, yeah, I feel bad for Foxconn workers. Caleb, do you want to go work at Foxconn?
I like foxes.
Okay. You would probably be hired.
Fox convention?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
I'll get you a plane ticket.
cool.
I have a contact over there. I'll get you all set up. Windows 11 is Microsoft trying to be too much like Mac OS, and I don't like it. I don't understand why this always happens when I'm on stream. Like, this never happens when I'm not on stream.
You have to script your stream.
Script?
Yeah, script it.
Why didn't I pre-record my stream and then record the TV? Alright, so here's our chip. Let's reball this really quick. This time we're not going to screw up. This time it's going to be... This time it's going to be an easy, quick reball. We're not going to mess up. It's gonna go really well. John is here, another person that's gonna make fun of me. Struggling to reball this PMIC. When I normally do these in like 30 seconds. Okay. So cool, you can see the lithography. That's amazing. Okay. Here we go. This is gonna go really well this time. It's totally not gonna be a disaster like our last 4 attempts. My mistake was my main mistake was ignoring my number 1 rule, which is always wick your pads. Oh, a lot of bad stuff. I said how you're not employed anymore and all kinds of other stuff. And now you're absolutely right. It's probably not the PMIC.
Oh,
and you
no,
shut up.
weird.
You shut up and now you go away.
Oh boy.
You missed the disaster. The disaster already happened, Adele, so you're safe. Is it like cold outside or no?
No.
Is it hot outside?
No.
So what is it?
Outside.
Oh. Attempt number 5. All thanks to Aaron. And remember, if this is the 6th attempt, then I do not repair MacBooks anymore. I'm purely a manager. Caleb repairs MacBooks. And Anel. I would hire Anel, and I'd bribe somebody else to come here. I have somebody else that I want to come work here, but I probably have to pay them more than where they're already working. It's usually not the PMIC, but in this case the PMIC was all corroded, so. What's going on? That's a lot of them.
Oh, it's code 3 sheriff.
Yeah, I knew it was sheriff's pit. It's 71 out, nice. No, you're not gonna live with me.
Yes.
No.
Yes, let him
No.
live with you.
Let him live with you.
I live too far away.
Well, you could ride with him. See?
I live in an area that's smaller than a chicken coop.
Okay, well, he could live with you.
You have to sleep on top of me.
Perfect. What is he, like 140 pounds or something? Brunel's probably less than that. He could fit in your chicken coop just fine. Hi, Paul. You just watched me screw up a PMIC reball multiple times because somebody in chat wished that upon me. Somebody in chat said he's gonna screw up 5 times, and I screwed up 5 times. This is literally our 5th attempt. Yeah, it was 105 here a month or so ago, Paul, so. I just hit my elbow. That hurt. It's not funny. It's not funny, Caleb. I'm going to now. That's not where I screwed up. I screwed up by not wicking my pads, like Jessa always does. And it smushed onto the board. What, Caleb? Something in the MacBook?
Oh, that might be the MacBook.
It probably is the MacBook.
It smells
Like what?
socks.
It probably is. Open with caution. You might. Where is the glass? Is it really that bad? You're gonna fix that on stream. I'm not touching that. If it's that bad, I'm not touching it. Bottom right has 0 paste. No, what are you talking about? Oh yeah, you're right. Thank you. Thank you, Anel. Anel saved the day. Paul says I should just reball using preform. No, that's a great idea, I guess. Alright, now this is an issue. This guy's an issue. But what I'm gonna do, I can shave it and we'll be fine. Your new look Foxconn Lancaster division. Oh, that would be hilarious. Based on today's track record, I think the only place that would employ me is Foxconn. I don't even think McDonald's would employ this bad of workmanship. No, this is like Apple engineer quality workmanship that I'm doing here. This is Apple engineer quality workmanship. No, this is like Apple rework tech quality workmanship. Alright, perfect. Alright, see, this is how it's supposed to be. First attempt, beautiful. Oh, come on. Alright, these will be alright. Yeah, a little bit bigger right there, but I think we're alright. We're alright. We'll be fine. We'll be just fine. And this could actually be just because of the flux reflecting. Let's see. Whatever. It'll be fine. And it's almost time for me to go home in 20 minutes. And this is going to be a well-deserved going home. And now I'm going to wick these pads. And here's one thing I learned with these PMICs. You always will lose NCs. Don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. They're NC. There's nothing. There's just a little bit of adhesive holding them on. So don't worry about losing NCs. It's not hard to get evenly sized balls with paste. It's just hard to get evenly sized balls with paste on stream for some reason. If I was doing a pre-record, it would be fine. It's just how the universe works. When people are watching you, waiting for you to screw up, you will screw up every time. Wait, did I not put the right PMIC back on? Where's the old PMIC? Oh, no way. That's why it didn't go on. Did I seriously grab the wrong PMIC? That was why. I'm such an idiot. This was the PMIC that we reballed. I put the old one back on that had no balls on it. That's why it didn't work. I cannot believe I just did that. See, this was the old one. This was the old one that has that one bigger ball somewhere here. Right there. This is the one, the replacement. I put the old one back on without reballing it. And I just realized that because this is lead free. That's why it didn't work. Oh well. Oh, that was the stupidest thing I've done in a while. I can't believe I did that. That was the dumbest thing that I've done in quite a while. And I just reballed the bad chip. Which is fine, I guess, because if it's good, then I'll reuse it. I can't believe I did that. At least Paul saw it. So Paul controlled me. Paul controlled me, the rest of the chat controlled me. Alright, in this case, I'm not going to wick again, which may end up being a mistake, but we'll see. Yeah, this stream is probably going to get deleted. There's going to be a cell phone repair shop talk post about me from some person that I don't really like saying, oh, look at this kid that doesn't know what he's doing. That's just going to happen. It's a given. Can't believe I did something like that. That was the stupidest thing I've done in a long time. What's wrong with Cam? You should join Cam.
Take 20 shots right now?
And then, regardless of this result, I'm going to be ending this stream after this because I need to talk to Caleb about something.
What?
Yeah. Employment.
Termination?
Possible termination and discipline. Write-ups. Discipline. Write-ups.
Apologize for my behavior right now.
I really don't want to do this again. Should I wick? Should I wick? No, I'm not going to wick. What's wrong with Cam? If Jessa shows up in chat, I could kiss goodbye ever being an instructor again. Should I wick? Caleb, do you have a coin?
Yeah. No.
You don't? Okay, I have a magnet with an X. If it lands on the X, I wick. If it doesn't land on the X, I don't wick. Alright, we have a magnet with an X. What's it gonna be? No wick. Christian, what you missed if you weren't here was I put the old chip back on the board by mistake. And then I reballed the old chip before figuring out what I did. And now shut up. Is someone here? Cam, you're too drunk to be in this chat right now. You need to come back when you're sober. This better work. I feel sick right now. Like I'm literally gonna vomit if this doesn't work. Oh no, my hand is doing that thing too. Align, little chip. Come on, you're off. I know you're off, but you can do it. You could fall into place. There you go. Good little chip. Good little chip. Let's let it cool. I have a waste can next to my work area. Oh, this was embarrassing. This stream was embarrassing, and it's not gonna work either. And that's what's gonna make this. That's just gonna make this even worse. It's not gonna work. It's too hot to turn on. My hands tend to get shaky after I fall several times in a row. Is that what it says? Oh, fail several times in a row. Yes, as you can see, my hands are shaking right now. But that is because I have not eaten much today. Alright, let's see. 20 volts, 0.08, 0.10, 0.09. And as I said, this board is not likely going to work until it has been ultrasonically cleaned and a forced DFU has been done, because that's what happens sometimes on these. So is this dead? Probably not. And how I'm going to confirm this is I'm going to measure our voltage rails now around our PMIC and see what we get. So let me switch over, not to display capture. So I'm going to show my meter. And again, this probably is going to work after ultrasonic cleaning and forced DFU restore. What the hell? Look at this. My meter just screwed up in a very weird way. Okay, this day is not... What? Okay, there we go. Can you guys see this? You can't. Here. I will put it here and try and measure. Okay. So I should get 1.8, 1.8, 1.8, or no, 0.9, 0.9 is present. And 0.8 present. 1.1 present. That one was missing. 1.109 present. 0. These are all of our PCH. 0.8. This one was fluctuating, and it's 0.8 steady now. 0.821. All right. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to force DFU this, and we have 10 minutes left. So I'm going to force DFU this. So, and then this will probably work, and I'm going to do that right now. So where's the enclosure? Here's the enclosure. Here, Caleb, put this board in. I got to force DFU it. What is that? Oh.
That is an A1460.
Air no power? I want air no power. This is a FLIR DM166, and it sucks.
Finish off the stream on a good note.
Air no power. I'm going to get into it, Peter, in a second. There's two ways. You could either hit the probe points on the board, or you can do power button, shift, control option, something like that. Let's see here. Let me set up my window capture. I guess this is easier to do this using a Mac. I hate using an Apple product. I really hate using an Apple product. Apple configurator. I really need to see the eye doctor. I can't see anything. Alright. Let's clean up my station. Do you have that? Is that Lenovo working on your station?
No,
Why not?
I was working.
John, you don't get to have air no power. You're too good at what you do. You're too good to get air no power. You need T2 MacBook missing cycling sleep 1v8 S2R. That's what you need to fix. John, I wish all the sleeping or cycling 1v8 sleep S2R boards on you. No, John is nice. Wes says scrub this live stream. Why? Live streams are supposed to be informal. All right, which chat thing should I get rid of the live stream or keep it? No, who are we kidding? This is embarrassing. Okay, so to do DFU restore, I'm gonna plug it into the master port to my Mac Mini, and I am going to hold power, shift, control option, and I'm gonna keep holding, and hopefully it appears on our screen in DFU, and it looks like it's not going to. That's not good. That's not good at all. Let me grab a USB-C. I need to grab a spare USB-C charger. Yeah, if it's not being detected in DFU, that makes me think the T2 is not working right. That's definitely on the concerning side of things. Yeah, I have not even the LED that says we're getting power. Okay, it's blinking. What does blinking mean? Blinking is definitely strange. Ah, that's why. Let's push this in all the way. What if... So I'm using a Thunderbolt cable. What if it doesn't like Thunderbolt? And what if we've been trolled all this time by it being in DFU when it just wasn't liking our Thunderbolt port? I don't know. Let's find out. I'm going to lean over here, plug this into our other USB-C port. Because I know this works, I'm going to switch on to window capture. I'm going to try and force this into DFU. There we go. Alright, now data on this machine is not important. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go for restore, actions, advanced, restore. Actually, I'll just do revive device. Caleb, what customer was this? Alright, we're going to do restore because this is for a wholesaler. So restore. And this is, it says restoring, installing. And hopefully I get a trackpad click here soon, because if we don't get a trackpad click, this T2 is probably dead. And if it fails, then the T2 is most likely really dead. In that case, we're going to ultrasonic it and hope for the best. It says installing system. No trackpad click yet. Not a good sign. This is starting to seem like T2 issue. What is it with you and Lewis never eating? I don't know. I usually eat. Today I didn't. I felt kind of nauseous today, so I didn't really want to eat. Alright, we're still at restoring system. So at this point we know our T2 is getting power. But it's not talking to anything. Still stuck on installing system. No trackpad click. We are waiting. We are waiting. That may have something to do with it, Catherine. I'm not sure. Anthony gave me $2. Thank you, Anthony. Alright, this still says installing system. Now this is where we wait, because this can take some time. And sometimes it... Is this heatsink warm? Or is it... Okay, so... Something is definitely hot on the other side of the board. Something is very abnormally hot on the other side of the board. I can't tell if I just have no sensation in my hands. Like literally I can't I don't feel well right now. I'm not saying I don't feel well, but my hands are cold right now and I can't really tell if something's really hot. And it looks like it is on the thermal. But I can't tell if it just heat soaked from the T2. Yeah, no, it's not. It's just heat soaked. Just normal. Still nothing. No trackpad click. We'll wait for it because this can take some time sometimes. Waiting.
No power while waiting.
Huh? Alright, let's fix that air no power while we're waiting. It's easy? Alright, let's fix an air no power while we're waiting. Let's make this stream not a total failure. So today we have, let's shut this off. Come on. No. Alright. Second board of the day. We have an 820000165 that does not turn on randomly. So let's go ahead and take a look at this board and see what's going on. So let's go back over to our microscope. And the first thing I want to check is PP bus voltage. So I'm going to plug in a DCM board. And see what we get. So with our DCM board plugged in, we are probably going to get no fan spin. And the first rail I'm going to check is going to be PP bus G3 hot, followed by PP5V S5, and then PM sleep S4L. So we get no fan spin. So I am going to measure PP bus G3 hot right here, which is 8.59 volts, which means our SMC is talking to our ISL and that it's working. Next rail is going to be PP5VS5, which will show up on this capacitor right here, and our other machine is still restoring. $5 volts. So the next thing I'm going to check is going to be PM sleep S4L. So PM sleep S4L will show up on this resistor right here, and that is 0 volts. We're missing PM sleep S4L. Is this an easy board, Caleb? All right, so differential diagnosis for missing PM sleep S4L, most commonly SPI termination area, U1950 area, clock chip area, pretty much anything can cause it, but those are my three biggest contenders. And if I look over here at our SPI and clock area, I see something that looks like corrosion. And these three resistors look absolutely beautiful, don't they? Don't these three little guys look great? These guys just look amazing. Look at those guys. Those look amazing. So do these guys right here. All right. All right, so let's fix this. Let's make this work again. So this is our clock chip area and our SPI area. This is most likely going to be what's causing our issue. So I'm going to put some flux down, and we are going to make this work again. So these three resistors are going to come off of our board. Same with our clock chip. Yeah, look at that. There's not even any pads left. Not even any pads there. And we're still stuck at installing system. I really gotta hurry. Oh, this PCB is rusted. Caleb, this is the second easy board you've given me of the day. Are you leaving? No. Okay. So I'm just using the iron with flux and solder to take care of all of this oxidation. And rust of the PCB. All that's going to get nicely cleaned up. Think of the oxidation like cancer, and you want to get it all out of here. It should be good. I'm going to wick. Just wanted to get as much of that as I can out of there. All that cancerous rust is gone. Just need to do a little scraping on this pad. Then grab a donor board, grab a new chip, and then we're done. We have one little area that's minorly corroded. This is no good. Flux is burnt. Alright, and our other MacBook gave up on waiting device to transition from DFU state to DFU state. Error 0x585. Yeah, that is probably a dead T2 chip. So what probably happened there with the corrosion on our PMIC, our T2 got a spike because that PMIC stopped giving out the right voltages, and that would cause it to be dead. But again, ultrasonic and try again because the board does have flux everywhere, and flux can cause issues, even being no clean flux. There's still corrosion on these pads. And it may look like it's soldered, but it's, yeah, dead NAND or T2 chip, says John. John is right. John is absolutely right. And hey, didn't we have corrosion by the NAND? That could definitely, I'll have to go back and see what around the NAND that one chip did, but it's very possible that our NAND got a spike. Because remember, the T2 needs to load its own OS before anything else, and that, yeah. So I kind of want to scrape away at the trace a little bit so I can make a bridge. What I just did there. I'm going to do the same thing right here. I don't want to cut the trace, but I want to be able to make a bridge there. Yeah, all that work and loss of reputation for nothing. There, see, this is what I want. Now I could be sure there's no corrosion on top because we have the trace scraped away, and that solder is going to make a nice connection right over it. Look at that. It's beautiful. Well, almost beautiful. Okay, let's go ahead and grab donor for an A1466, and we will get these components replaced. Please have a clock chip. Please have a clock chip. You don't have a clock chip. Darn it. Have a clock chip, please. No clock chip. Yeah, we're savages here on donor boards. Clock chip. You have a clock chip. No, you don't. Here, you definitely have a clock chip. Excellent, you do have a clock chip. Alright, so I'm going to start with my resistors and then our clock chip. I think I should just rename my business Foxconn Lancaster. Oh, my hands are not steady right now. The least bit. This is what I get for not eating all day. Hypoglycemia. What happened? Really? Someone breaking into it? Huh? I have no idea who Kia is. I'm 1000% sure. I've never heard that name before in my life until now. Don't forget the suicide net, says Miles. Alright, while that's cooling down, I'm going to quickly take care of this. So this area needs flux, it needs some resistors resoldered, and it needs a new capacitor. Actually, it doesn't even need a new capacitor. It does need a new capacitor. I'm shaking. Yeah, this capacitor is not going to stay on here. Kai has not worked here in a long time. Like almost a year, Kai has not worked here. I wish Kai the best, though. Almost done. I really want to go home. I really, 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 really want to go home. Okay. So we're going to let this cool for a second because it's too hot to turn on. And then we're going to be greeted with a hopefully nice spinning fan. And that is the fan that is going to spin gloriously. Alright, should be cool enough. Let's cool down for... Spin, little fan, spin. You could do it. You could spin for us. Spin, little fan. Come on. That is a spinning fan. So today was not a total failure. That is a spinning, nice spinning fan. We'll wait for it to go to high speed, meaning the SMC is initialized and everything's working. There we go. It's spinning faster and faster and faster. And that is it. So... time to go home. Today was mostly a day of failure. So, that's it for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed me making myself look like an idiot today.